A cafe conversation. A cafe conversation. It's a cafe conversation in the ladies' room. 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 A cafe conversation in the ladies' room.
Good evening, and welcome back to Cafe Conversations in the Ladies' Room. We got a full house again tonight. All the lovely ladies. I love it when my ladies come out for Ladies' Night. I tell you, I get so excited we have a good time when it's just me and her, but when it's more women, I'm like, the party is over here, and if you're not here, you're missing out. So you can come, you're invited, but if you don't come, it's on you. Anyway, welcome. Okay, we got a great show for you tonight. We're going to pick it up a little bit because, the last couple of shows we've been doing topics that really make us boo-hoo and feel, hurting inside. It's true. Listen, I was going
really
home
true.
and
We all
I was
got
like,
emotional the last show.
I was like, listen, and we had mimosas, and it still didn't help me none,
That's
and,
right.
and everything. So, but tonight we gonna talk about something that we all like to talk about: love and relationships. Love and relationships, cause I want to be in love in my relationship, and I want him to be like, all I do is think about you day and night and stuff. It's true, cause I want him to think of me like that. I want to do that Prince Charming love spell on him.
I'm with her.
That's what I'm saying. So I need to figure out how we can get that, that love spell going, so we can get that man of our dreams to be like, girl,
Why you ain't talk to me?
ain't nobody out here like you. I need you.
Why you ain't talk to me, Cherie?
Huh?
You know I know. I know.
You got the spell.
You know I
You got
know.
the spell. We gotta talk after the show, girl. We gotta talk after the show. Well, we gonna get this party started. Tonight's topic is I love you with all my heart, or is all in my head. You know, is it? Is it really in my heart that I'm loving you with, or is it just in my head?
Wow,
Think about that.
I'm thinking.
Think about that. And guys, I want you to think about it too, because we got some representation out here tonight for you too. We have Mr. Stanley Holmes, System Reliability Engineer. Stanley, you with us in the cafe tonight? You there? I know you there. Don't be afraid. We won't bite. All right. So, while we get Stanley on the line and everything, I'd like to introduce my other girls in the cafe tonight. To my left, I have the beautiful, the talented,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
our new bestie in the group, Miss Prunella Harris, LCSW, CEO and founder of Restorative Family Services, LLC. Ooh,
Thank
two
you.
snaps for her because she's doing that thing, y'all. She is
Thanks
doing
for
that
having me.
thing. I mean, I can't begin to tell you. I've been trying to get you here in the cafe for a minute.
I'm
So,
here.
I'm
I'm in the building.
That's
Hello.
right.
And
So
I be in her building.
Okay.
I'm in her building.
So I am so excited that you're here tonight to help us make some sense out of, our love relationships and why we fall in love and how we fall in love and if we're really falling in love. Because, sometimes we can mistake infatuation for love. And then all of a sudden it's like, I didn't really ever love you in the first place. But that's a different show. So, anyhow.
Glad to be here.
And to my direct right, of course, the one, the only, Samantha.
A.K.A. Ju
See, alrighty, and
Love it.
there isn't a show without her.
Nope.
You see me, you see her, you see her, you see me.
That's
Unless
right.
her husband's trying to take my spot. Yeah, I'm talking about you.
Wow.
But anyway,
Girl,
yes.
never.
And to my far right, the one and only, none like her, Miss Carlotta Aneth, motivational speaker of Get Your Mind Movement. Ooh, owner of Jules Diamond in the Rough Radio. Whoop whoop! Hello, lady.
Hello,
How are
ladies.
ya?
I'm doing good. I'm in the house.
In the building, she in the
I
house.
know you must be excited that you're launching next
Look,
week.
I can't wait. I'm really excited.
Oh my gosh.
Because then I'm gonna have the ladies on there and we're gonna cut up for real.
What ladies you gonna have, us?
Yeah. What you
Ow.
talking about?
Ow.
We gonna cut up.
That's
up.
what I'm talking about.
What?
Worse than here?
That's
Worse.
We be cutting up.
Yeah, we gonna cut up.
Okay.
I
Well,
expect it.
I'm looking forward to it. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait
Thank
to
you.
see what fabulous things you're about to do.
Yeah.
And where it's all gonna go.
I'm
Cause
taking my time.
there you go. There you go.
Slow and steady
Slow
wins
and
the
steady.
race.
Exactly.
Slow and steady.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
my
talking
publisher
about.
and my publicist, and I also have a book as well called Her Story.
Okay.
It is my story, but I had to make it a fiction because of people.
Mm-hmm.
But she always tells me from the beginning. She's always been telling me, Carlotta, don't rush it, because you don't want to be that one that comes out quick and then fade away.
Right.
You want to be that one that comes out slowly,
and
coming out of that race real slow, steady, and then boom, when it's time for you to shine, you shine, and you really, really shine.
Absolutely.
And I say that I say that watching a lot of the ladies that I'm watching, a lot of the queens that I like to call them queens. Don't start with me, okay?
I'm not. I'm being good.
I like
Don't
to call
blow
them
me
queens. 'Cause
up.
I'm sorry, and I'm taking over. I apologize.
No, it's okay. It's
Forgive me.
okay.
But I like to see them do that. I like to see them come out. You see a lot of stars, a lot of people that are already well known, YouTubers or whatever, and they come out fast and quick because that's
One-hit
just
wonders.
they it's a money thing for them. Some of them, it's not really a thing where I want to help people. I want to inform people. I want to build up the community. It's all about let me get that money.
Gotcha.
But you forget about what you're really for, what you really stand for.
Absolutely.
So it's the ones that I like that have something to stand for, and I watch them. Trust me, I'm watching you, Prunella. I watch them.
I gotta be on my best behavior now.
I watch them, and I watch you guys all the time. Every time you're on, I watch you because I'm learning.
Appreciate it.
'Cause I'm learning.
Appreciate
Yes,
it.
thanks for the support.
Girl, I'm
I-
over here
I'm
learning
watching you
too, right now.
I'm taking my time. People keep saying, because I started out with my show. I had a show. I was going, and I had a podcast, and I was going, and I felt like I was rushing, to get my content out there, and people were listening. And someone just told me, let me not say someone, my friend, he just told me yesterday, that he's like, you're on Spotify. I was like, what? He was like, yeah. He's like, I wasn't even thinking, because him and I did a show together.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was on Spotify, I'm listening, and
I saw that
boom, your
earlier.
face shows up, and all your stuff shows up, and then all the stuff that we talked about. And he's like, and you got like over 10,000 listeners.
And that's what I'm talking about. You know?
What?
You see
Advancement
that?
without even trying.
Without even, I wasn't even trying, and I don't even use that forum anymore.
Yeah.
I don't use it. So I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you're on Spotify.
Well,
Wow.
Considering you are, use it to your advantage.
Most
Because let's
definitely.
put it like this: the airtime you don't use, somebody else will use it.
That's
and,
right.
And what they might be
That's
putting
right.
out may not be helpful to the
That's
community
correct.
or to the empowerment
Correct.
of us women.
And,
So
and metamorphosis,
use it.
I want to say this. Please let me say it. Metamorphosis is really like impacting me. Like when I see it, I'm like, whoa, they doing some stuff. Like they doing the thing. Like they came out for a friend, a young girl that I met when I lived in the shelter, and did the thing for her. And she was so overwhelmed and crying, and I was trying to video her. She was like, "Please, Carlotta, don't do me like this."
Aw.
But she wanted me to tell you. She's like, "Please tell Metamorphosis that I love them and I appreciate them."
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that.
We
We
do
appreciate that. You
We
know,
So
need
now
to
I'm
hear
gonna be
that.
quiet.
well,
Okay.
Well, I mean, that's
it's not about me.
that's our whole purpose for being here. You know, not only Metamorphosis as the organization, but you know, everybody eats and the
Yeah.
show itself, the the podcast itself. We're here because we want people to know there is somebody out there. Our slogan is "A little love goes a long way."
I love it.
You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
And our purpose is to heal our communities
You
one
tell it.
family at a time.
You tell it.
You know, so my whole thing is, nothing wrong with showing a little bit of love to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because just because you help pull somebody up, don't mean that you're going to get any less or get left behind.
True.
Right.
You know what
True.
I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like if I'm up, I need to pull her up, and you need to pull
I
her
love
up,
it.
and you need to pull her up, and
Yes.
we all need to advance together.
That's how it should
You
be.
know, so
Yes, ma'am.
I'm all for it. Anybody, and this is great because it actually leads into where I was going, which is, our Everybody Eats project is a emergency food service project that addresses food insecurities in our nearby communities.
Right.
Well, we've branched out a little bit, so we have service
don't know how to
from
stop.
New York City to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
what I'm talking about.
And helping families who are in need.
There's
and
a lot.
recently, we've helped a few more families who actually the whole house, 12 people,
Wow.
all COVID positive.
Oh my goodness.
6 in one house, 6 in the other, but they're all
Oh,
one family.
one
They're
family.
all one
Imported
family. Wow.
A party.
A party.
They
A
went
party.
somewhere and got
Right.
it.
You know,
Wow.
And in
And,
the beginning of our Everybody Eats project, we had a family of 6 adults, all COVID positive, that couldn't get out.
And see,
we
that's
delivered to
that's
them.
the key right there is
also.
that it's 6 adults because are there any children that are positive?
I think 1 or 2 teenagers,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
no
No little
ones.
kids.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end
It's
of the day,
devastating.
it's like COVID has affected people in a way that has some people have not been able to come back from it.
This is true.
You
This
know,
is true.
and what we honestly thought was going to be a short-term thing has turned out to have to be something on a forever basis.
Right. Right.
Because it went from COVID to people losing their jobs,
Mm-hmm.
or they went back to work, but they're not making the same thing they were making prior to
Right.
COVID.
Correct.
People who were succumbing to fires.
Right.
People who are homeless and they're transitioning to, being
Right.
in a
have their own-
home,
yeah.
and everything. So, I mean, single mothers, you name it, we've had situations on top of situations where people have just come to us and say, "Hey, can you help us out?"
Right. Right.
And I'm sorry, I can't say no.
You can't say no.
Samantha, I'll tell you.
No, it's really true
Samantha,
because
yeah.
we went from food to whatever you need.
To whatever
Yeah,
it is.
Whatever you
I
need,
mean,
just let us know.
Just we'll
We're
get
gonna
it.
find it for
We'll
you.
get
We're
it.
gonna bring
God
it.
keeps increasing your territory.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You are
Yeah.
answering the calls.
Right.
It's not like I have a plan. I plan to do this, but hey, I'm answering the
Answering the
call.
call.
Yeah.
That's
You're
right.
gonna keep getting more calls.
Amen.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
I
good to
agree.
be that person. in that
Answering that
position.
call.
So I'm glad. you're
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So if
So we got
you yourself or anyone you know
I need
is
my
in
nails
need
too.
of,
sorry.
huh?
She talking about her
I
nails.
just had to be funny for a moment.
She's probably looking at mine.
That's why I keep
See?
looking at y'all. I'm
gonna
like,
close 'em this way.
If you yourself or anyone you know is in need of, food assistance, please don't hesitate to call us. We can be reached at 570-223-4503. You'll get me or you'll get Samantha. Tell us what your situation is, and we'll do what we can to help you, okay? Like we said, a little love goes a long way. We got a little love for you, okay? If you don't get us on the phone, leave a message. I will call you back, okay? Leave a message. Let me know what's going on, and let us see what we can do to help you. So, with that being said, we gonna.
You know I knew what you was gonna say. Go ahead.
You see that? See, we've been co-hosts too long. That's what it is. Co-hosts too long. We're gonna move on into our topic. Okay? And like we said, we're going to talk a little bit about love and relationships tonight. So the topic for tonight is I love you with all my heart,
Yes.
or is it all in my head? Okay? Now I'm going to say that again just so that you can ingest that for a second.
Listen to it.
I love you with all my heart, or is it all in my head? So a little bit of something to think about. When we fall in love with someone, we refer to our heart as the source of the emotion. But science states that our emotions are generated by hormones released from our brain. Do we conceptualize what we think love should look like, then build our amorous relationships around those ideas? Do men and women love the same, or does gender make a difference?
You know the answer.
I can't
want to
wait.
hear what she
I
has to
can't
say.
wait.
She will.
I really
gonna
can't
speak.
wait.
I totally want to hear what she
I
has to
can't
say.
wait to
We're
hear
gonna
what
hit
she has
some
to say.
points.
So, first and foremost, what is love? Because everybody wants to. That's the $1 million question. What is love?
And what's that second part?
Okay, I was getting there.
I know. I'm
I see.
excited.
You hype.
I'm
Okay,
excited.
okay.
I'm
All right.
excited.
All right.
Suave.
Okay.
What is
Well, I'm not
love?
sure if you guys can hear me or not.
Woo!
He's here.
Hey, our
Okay.
king has made it into
Hello,
the
my
cafe.
apologies for the
Yes.
delay. Had some slight mic problems over here though, but I was obviously I resolved those. So I am here and ready to join in the conversation. Give a
Yes.
minute.
Well,
Yes.
welcome, Stanley. We're glad you made it to the cafe. Better late than never, right?
Yeah, hey, that's my feelings exactly.
All right. And besides, you got all these beautiful women to spend the next hour of your evening with. So you're a lucky guy tonight.
I can't beat it. I can't beat it. I say we can try to see if
Can
we
you
can
see
extend it
us?
for another hour. Can we extend it for another hour?
He said extend for an hour. He
I
said,
got
okay,
you, I
let's go
got
over
you.
that hour.
So first and foremost, I'm gonna let y'all define that. What is love? What does it mean to you? Why don't you start, Carlotta?
What?
Come on, man. Come on.
What is love? My definition of love, for me, is unconditional. Wanting to do for someone despite your situation, because I love God, and that's where I base my love off of. I might not be everything that I should be in God, but I know that God loves me, and that's His requirement of me, is to love His people. And so if He requires me to love His people, then I love the people, and then I love God, and then I love myself.
Gotcha.
And that's how it works for me.
All
So
right.
love is unconditional, loving. I say this, I don't know, maybe it's a contradiction. But I say this, I love people until they show me something different. And then my love kind of like switches to like, okay, so I was loving you like a friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just loving you like the agape love that God requires of me. And then it stops there. So anything you might need, I'm not helping you.
We got some conditions. There's some
Yeah.
conditions on that.
Okay.
Yeah, like, yeah.
And that's okay, because
Cause,
boundaries are good.
yeah,
Boundaries are
I
good.
set boundaries. And I'm working on it because the more I read the word, Lord, all right, God, all right. All right. The more I read the word, which I read daily, and I apply it to my life, because we're trying to apply it every day. It's not easy, because people will test you, because people ain't reading the word like you are, people ain't loving like you are, people are not like you are. So everybody has their own aspect of what life is supposed to be and how we're supposed to treat people.
But your
And
love
so
is strictly what you said from God first.
God first. So that's what I'm working on.
And we're gonna,
Like,
we're
staying
gonna,
there.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna delve into that a little bit further into the show. If your religious beliefs makes a difference on how you love and who you love, and stuff like that. So I want you to hold that thought
Sure.
for a moment.
Most definitely.
And I'm gonna move on to Miss Samantha. Well,
She trying to throw me under the
I
bus.
thought
We waiting. We waiting.
Guess we're gonna go
Save it
first.
for last. Save it for
Well,
last.
I'm going to
It's
save her
great.
for last because she's going to give us a
all
little
we're
bit
gonna
more
No, you can save her for last. I just
I like.
I just
She's like the goodie right there.
I just
That's
want to
like
say
the good
that
one.
my definition of love starts from within,
Okay.
starts with the heart,
Mm-hmm.
then goes into the mind.
All right.
Okay.
And that's all
Alright.
I'm going to say because there's a lot to say about that.
I want to
Okay.
hear
So
it
that's
too.
how my love is.
I like that. I like
Yes.
that. Mr. Holmes,
Yes, yes.
I want to hear from our guys. Tell me, what's your definition of love?
My definition of love is treating the person the way that you would want to be treated,
Yeah.
and having learned and to know what it means to give a person yourself without necessarily requiring them. It's what the young lady spoke about earlier. It's being able to love unconditionally and realizing that you have to be able to um, love the person even during the most difficult times, because at the end of the day, that's what's expected of all of us as God expected the way He does us. And I think the best way to describe it is if we look at how God still gives us the things that we want. He still blesses us, even though we know we're not doing right. He still is willing to do that for us anyway. That is how we should be treating each other, even though people are not necessarily giving us the things that we want in the way that we want.
Mm-hmm.
We should still be able to give them um, what they need in life, because our true blessings and feelings of life doesn't come from other people. It comes from Him. So if you can love like Him, you can love anybody from any circumstance or any other way. So that's my
Okay.
thought.
Okay,
My
now I'm
definition.
going to say something. That's why I didn't give a full definition. I just started with that because there's all types of love.
Yes.
So then
Agreed.
there's more than one definition, in my opinion. So I didn't want to, go deep like that until
Right.
we speak to the lady over there. But
Absolutely.
you go ahead.
Absolutely. So I saved the best for last.
You didn't speak on your love.
It's-
I need to.
I
hear
got
it.
you.
I need to
She
hear
said,
it.
"I need to hear it."
Okay.
Let's-
All right. Fine. I'll go first. My definition of love is that feeling inside of me that lets me know that you and I can coexist as one. Okay? And when I say coexist as one, she and I should be able to coexist as one brain, one heart, one
You
feeling,
better talk
as
about it.
friends. Me and my loved one should be able to coexist as one in a relationship. Me and my children should be as one, as family. So for me, love is when you have that mutual understanding, the unspoken understanding that what we feel for each other, how we treat each other, what we think of each other, and how we protect each other's hearts, minds, and souls, okay, defines how much I love you.
Okay.
So I'm
feel
sorry
you.
if that was too deep.
No, that was perfect.
Perfect.
So again, we saved the best for last.
Queen,
Because
Queen Prunella.
what I would like you to do, Prunella, is if you can give us the definition of love. I guess a clinical definition of love. And then on top of that, let's talk a little bit about how do we fall in love with people? How does that even happen?
Well, you guys all spoke a different love language. You guys all gave your collective understanding and what it means for you guys to feel love. And so love is one of those abstract things where there is no one definition of what love is. It's just my understanding, my consciousness of what I believe or how I feel secure in a relationship. And it starts one with you, but then it is an expression of what you're looking for in others. So you categorize that in your own mind based on your experiences, based on how you felt secure in relationships, or what it's usually your mother or father that makes you feel warm and fuzzy, or something you've probably seen if you don't have loving parents, maybe grandparents or some, but someone made you feel secure, and we attach that as social beings to our definition of love. And so Gary Chapman in his book, The Five Love Languages, really starts to categorize how different personalities, different people identify love. And so that's called The Five Love Languages, which is one of my favorite books. So when you
Yeah, I
told
love
me
that.
that you were covering
I've read
this,
it. Oh yeah, I've
So,
read it.
oh my gosh.
so can we talk a little bit about the five love languages?
Oh yeah, let's get into it.
Let's
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
do it.
So,
Yes.
so I'm going to give you the next few minutes to explain to us what those five love languages are, and then let's see where we identify, which ones we identify with, and then I have a question for you, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, yes.
Do you think men and women love differently? Okay, so I want you to think about that while she's talking
Going over
about
the
the five
languages,
love
right?
languages, okay? And we're
Oh,
going to come
okay.
back to that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so Gary Chapman's five love languages are acts of service, time, gifts. There are words of affirmation, and there are. I'm drawing a blank. Hold on one second. Let me.
That's
I
okay.
am.
All
How
right.
many did you give?
I gave four.
Four,
So,
so
I
you
got
need one more?
service,
One more.
Acts of
acts of
service, words
gifts.
of affirmation,
gifts, time,
time, physical touch.
and physical touch. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
there you go.
I'm drawing a blank.
There it is.
So
The best one.
I like her.
so let's describe
gotta have it.
what those are. So words of affirmation is just telling your partner, hey, I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much. It's really giving them words that show that you see them, that you acknowledge what they're doing, because love is an action. We can't understand what people are thinking, so we look for those actions. So
Right.
words of affirmation is telling your partner that you appreciate what they're doing.
Right.
Acts of service is doing things for your partner, being thoughtful. So, that's one of my love languages. I mean,
Mine too.
I used
Sorry.
to get so excited when my husband would mow the lawn, do the dishes. Oh my God, he loves me.
I want flowers.
And
You
so,
brought me flowers?
yeah. So now, gifts is thoughtful gifts. Some people feel loved when they are given thoughtful gifts. Flowers. Maybe you've been looking at this book, and they brought you this book, or booked a vacation for you. Things like that.
Right.
So we talked about words of affirmation. We talked about service. We talked about gifts. Time. It's some people feel loved just by being in the presence of someone else.
That's
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah,
maybe
that's one of mine.
it could be the most mundane thing, just sitting together, folded laundry, but
Yes.
just being in the same room
Yes.
in
Right.
company of someone else.
Yes.
So
Cartoon
having that
Network.
time.
Yeah.
Cartoon Network with peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I
It's
said-
about to. It's heating up in here.
It's
Go ahead.
Cartoon Network,
And so
Netflix and chill.
we
I'm
said
sorry.
words of
I shouldn't say-
affirmation. We said service, gifts, time, and then the last one is physical touch, which which Juicy
God help
loved,
me.
right?
Juicy loves
and,
God
that.
help
and so
me.
that is not necessarily sex, but it could include
I
sex.
ain't say
But it
that.
is just a very, hey,
lying.
oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
Hello.
a hug, a non-sexual touch. Sometimes gives people that feeling of comfort and safety
Right.
and emotional stability.
That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
are your five
I
love
like that
I
one.
love them. I think I'm all of them. I have all of them.
and
Yeah.
Yeah,
there is a
yeah.
quiz that you can take online. If you search Five Love Languages quiz right on Gary Chapman's website, you can take it. A quiz, they'll ask you a few questions, and they'll rank you what your top 3 are.
All
Most
right.
people have a
I
variation.
did it a
Yeah,
while
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
It's been a
variation.
while.
Yeah, I
I mean, I have the book, but I did the but that was like 3 years ago.
All right.
It's been a
So-
while. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Well,
do it again.
In your opinion, do you think that men and women love the same? Now, because, and the reason I asked this question, and I'm putting it to the table, but to you, is because it said that women, we're very emotional creatures. We love, we live by our hearts. We wear our hearts on our sleeve,
I
and
do.
we make decisions based on our emotions. Where men are more visual and physical, you know,
Yeah.
um, and love is a little bit different for them. You know, it's thought of differently. It's expressed differently. So I'm interested to hear your opinion, and then Stanley, I would like to hear your opinion on that statement when she's done. Okay?
And I think
Sure,
men
sure.
either do or they don't. But go ahead.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
okay.
And so, because there are differences in gender,
Mhm.
the way we're socialized, so we're social beings. So everything we learn, we're looking at the role model ahead of us. So it has differences in cultural context. But a simplified answer is yes, they do love differently.
Okay.
Their female energy is a whole lot different from the male energy. Now, you have women who operate more so in the male energy, and you have men who can operate in the female energy. But when females love, it's more of there was so there was a book I read, and it said that female energy is more like a piece of yarn that is raveled up and touches
Okay.
everything and
Uh-huh.
everyone, and like
Energy.
male thoughts are just like an empty box. It's just we have boxes for things, and there's a nothing box,
Okay.
a box for this and that,
Uh-huh.
and so it is different. We are just uniquely different in the way
Wired.
we express
Right.
Right.
love, and the way we even women are more empathic beings. So
Right.
we operate in that emotional energy more so. So it is expressed differently, and
Right.
it's conceptualized differently.
Right.
But it may not be different as far as the feeling.
Right.
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 It's
Right.
expressed differently.
Right, right.
Okay.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. Really.
I think men are hard.
Mm.
But they
they have
feel
that
they
hard.
feel like we do,
Yeah,
but they express it
differently.
Yeah.
I think that they want to love. It's there, but they're just so um into being a
They do.
man. Like
They
this is
do
my
love.
manhood. And
No, they do.
you
I
know,
think they
yeah.
do love, but they just do it different.
And then look at society, right? Society doesn't make it easy for men to just
Be
in that
emotional.
Right,
This
right,
true.
realm.
This
It's
is
like, oh, you're okay, brush it up, be a man.
Yeah, keep going.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Or they
women is-
tell them stop acting like that with her.
Yeah.
Stop acting like that with her.
So, Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
would you mind
Uh,
addressing what you've heard at the table so far?
I think that there is a difference in the way that we do love. I mean, there's certain things that ways that we love. If you take the five love languages, men feel the same love, five love languages as well. And we need the affirmation. We also need the touch. We need those things as well. And I think that's where there is no difference in between the way a man loves and a woman loves because we all require those things. The difference in the way that we express it, I think that's where we differ in the way that we express it. And as mentioned earlier, we are socialized to believe that are not necessarily to openly show it because there's a stigma behind it
Right.
that um, that gets, I guess, gets put on the man who does show it, and that stigma we have to always maintain, um, considering that we are supposed to be listed as the head of the household. And head of household means that you have to be able to withstand whatever comes your way and be able to hold everybody else up around you. And in order to do that, it requires that you not feel as emotional, be as emotional, because then you begin to lose. For us, it's like a sense of respect, and some of it is generated by the women in our lives who feels that you can't express that because they treat you with less respect by showing your emotions. And then some are understanding that you are an emotional human being just like the rest of us, so therefore they allow you to feel that way.
So,
So I think
what you're saying is that some men are some men are raised to believe that to show emotion, to build an attachment to someone would be like a sign of weakness.
No, not necessarily the building attachment. We have no problem attaching ourselves with a person. I think there's just the question of how do we express that love for that person. We have no problem attaching ourselves to the person or loving that person. Just that the way that we may show it may not necessarily always coincide with the way that that person may wants to see it.
Right. People
And I
call it
think
weak,
that for us,
being weak.
it's I guess it goes back to the five love languages and the way that we express it. The gift that we may get you, without saying a word, means that we love you without necessarily have to say it. It's by what we do and what we give you and things like that.
Well,
And so it may not always come
supposing
out
you're not
verbally.
buying gifts.
Mm.
He said,
He said, "Where you at, Mr. Holmes?"
I was just putting that out there. I was just saying.
Well,
For
he
thought.
obviously he buys gifts.
Right.
he said, I buy
He can't answer for the brothers that don't.
He
I'm
got
so
quiet.
It's all right,
No.
Mr.
Hey,
Holmes. It's okay.
I think personally, I'm the gift giving. I think that I'm not necessarily gift giving because I personally, my love language is not gift giving. I think it's but I think gifts are something that you can buy at the store, and you become too attached with the monetary. It's too easy to become more comfortable with a monetary gift because it places value on it. There's something that you can't get back, such as your time and your energy and your that touch. Those things you can't put a price on. So I think for me, I think those mean the most.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. That was
Oh, yeah.
beautifully said.
Kiss me anytime.
Absolutely.
No, seriously. Like I'd rather a hug, a
And a
kiss. You know, sit with me and watch my
Then a
favorite
Louis bag?
show. Yeah.
All
You
right.
know why? Because I'll put that Louis bag in the closet, but that Louis bag is not going to give me the time, attention, and love that
It's
man
not.
would.
It's not.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
just the feeling that you get when you love a Louis.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the,
It's just
bag.
the
This
feeling
bag
that
is
you
bag is
get.
so
It's
love.
almost like the feeling that you get when you loving somebody else. But
Right.
I'm just here for
okay.
that, you know.
Okay.
But you know what? A lot of times we actually show our love the way we like to be loved.
That's
like
right.
your partner could have a completely different
Different.
love
That's right.
language.
Right.
And if you're not in tune with those
That's
things,
true.
you're like showing all these things. Like
Yeah.
you're kissing them, but they don't like
Want to kiss?
physical touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want you to just tell them they did a good job.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
It's
just
true.
about being attuned
tune
and
with-
not really judging how they want to receive love, but
That's
being able
right.
to get over to the other side.
Girl,
Do you think culture?
I agree.
Do you guys think culture plays a difference in how you
100%.
define and express love?
100%.
I believe it does.
100%.
Yes.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Got that answer.
Even where you grew up, plays a part.
Your past. You know, do you find that maybe your experiences with your parents, your siblings, if you had friends or not, all that plays a factor in how you express your love for someone else.
Well, culturally, it's very different because some people are, let's say, arranged marriages. How you love somebody that somebody arranged you to be together? You
Right.
can't possibly be in love, but yet you're married. So
But there's a whole show at Marriage at First Sight.
yeah,
Was it-
that's why. But
You
then
know?
and then they're trying to match people up and things like that. But even I want to say biracial relationships and meaning any race biracially is not easy. Now you may feel the same. All races feel love, but how you express it culturally is different.
Right.
So you have to be attuned with that person that you liking over there that's not like you, and it's okay.
Yes.
But you gotta be you got to get there, and you can't get there overnight.
Yeah, and when I meet with couples, because I see couples who are different cultures, but just being raised in a different family,
Right.
we come into relationships with unexpected expectations,
Right.
like, oh, it's going to be the way I grew up,
Right.
it's gonna,
Right.
it's going to be like
Yep.
this. My mother did all the working, she did all this, she took care of kids, and I didn't really have to do much of the,
Men think like that a
stuff.
lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so based on culture, because there's some patriarchal cultures, there are some cultures that want a collaborative approach.
Yes.
So and that's where communication is
Yes, key.
vital. It's vital. And again, because we don't know what the other person is thinking, feeling, talking about it, expressing it, trying to show up with knowing more about our partner and reaching across the aisle.
Right.
So while I was doing some research on love,
Oh shoot.
okay,
Oh shoot.
okay, one of the things that I did come across was there's a mature kind of love, and there's a immature kind of
Oh,
love.
tell me about it.
Aw.
I want to know about
Okay.
all of this.
Yeah.
And in a nutshell, okay, it said that as we age, the way we love changes. So this particular group right here
So
is
you got-
we're in a different stage of life than, let's say, I have a 23-year-old daughter. My boys are in their late 20s, early 30s, and when I think back to when I was 16,
23.
okay,
Yeah.
23.
Keep
Well,
going.
I mean, I'm gonna say 16.
was a long time ago.
because 16 was the first time that I actually used that
Word.
that phrase.
Love.
I love you.
Oh.
You know,
Me
and
too.
I remember saying it, and it was like, I mean, everything was roses and rainbows and unicorns, and it
That's
was
that
like,
new love. We in the old love right here.
No,
right now.
but-
We got
but
old
that's what I'm
love.
saying.
We're in
But-
seasoned love.
That's
We're in
right.
seasoned.
That's right.
So, but that's what I'm saying.
Because I
like,
remember that too. I don't even want to talk about it. It was so dumb.
the
But
change. But we have to acknowledge it. Here's the reason.
It's
Here's
true.
the reason I say we got to
It's
acknowledge
true.
it, because we do have that generation, that teenage generation, who are like, oh, but I love him,
Goo goo gaga.
so I'm gonna have his baby. and see, we may not thought about having the baby, when we were 16 and all like that, but I do know a lot of young ladies who are producing
Babies.
children, because they feel like that's gonna attach them to this guy, and he's gonna love them more because they have
Give
this
them a
child.
baby. Yeah.
And in fact, it actually does the opposite at times, where it pushes him away.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now you have this young lady who's heartbroken. She's very emotional, and now she's a mother and have to take care of this child.
And love that child.
Right, exactly. But that child now reminds her of the one that broke her heart. You know what I'm saying? So, in essence, what I'm asking is, do you guys feel, and I guess we all agreed that we do, what changes as we get older? What changes in how we love? And who we choose to love? Because the people I would have chosen back in the day are not the people I would choose now.
Definitely.
As a matter of fact, I'm looking for the time machine so I could go back and change. Okay, change a couple of things and a
Oh,
few
my
people
goodness.
I met, so that because I was like, there got to be a different ending to this story, Lord.
Yes.
Got to be a different ending. But seriously speaking, what do you guys think about that? And you as a boy, Stanley. Well,
Man.
a man, okay? But even as a boy, what was it that you were taught about loving a girl? Or, never mind, I'll leave it there. What were you taught about loving a girl?
I don't think it was anything that we were, taught. I think if anything, it's we probably just had the same went through the same process, that feeling that you get that made you feel like you were just, that was the one person that you wanted to be with and spend the rest of your life with. I think a lot of that I think For guys, or I'll say for myself. For myself, I think it was I think the feeling that you get when you're with that person, and you're spending time with that person. That's both physically as well as time wise, and the fact that you had the fun that you had while with that person, and knowing that you can be yourself and have a good time with that person. I think that was the starting point for believing that you're in love with that person.
Hmm. And the fact that he had the most beautiful brown eyes I ever saw in my life.
Well,
Who?
thank you.
You know? Huh?
Who?
My boyfriend at
Oh,
16.
girl.
She
Bye.
said, she
We
said, huh?
He,
we
no, he had gorgeous brown eyes and stuff.
where'd that get you?
You know? Huh?
Where'd that get you?
I mean, well, we was cool until he went to college. When he went to college, that's where all the problem came in at, because college girls was thinking on a different level than I was in high school. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't compete. You know
There
what
you
I'm
go.
saying?
There you
You
go. So
know?
them eyes ain't get you far.
But you asked the question,
Does it
you
change?
know, how does it love
How does it
change?
change?
And for me, I think it changes because we change. So once you love you, because this is the first person you have that relationship with, and so as you evolve, so does what you value evolve, and so what you're looking for and what you'll tolerate and what makes you feel special and loved changes. So that's how
So
that
that's how that
for
me.
me.
Right.
No, that I agree, because yeah, we're not the same.
I
So
know,
you
I
can't
know, definitely.
possibly look at things the same. You can't love the same.
True.
You have to be different.
And
And it may not be right.
right.
Because I know some older people who still pick the wrong love going around. But what are you gonna do? Keep trying. That's what I can
Keep
say.
trying.
It's a lot of people in the world. It's a lot of people in the world. Keep trying. Keep seeking.
trying.
Keep trying. That's it.
I mean, I think when it comes to aging or loving through our aging process, I'll put it that way.
So
Loving
nice.
through our aging process. I think a lot of it also too is experience. I know for me, my experiences made a difference in who I chose to give my love to. You know, um, and I'm not saying I made the right choice all the time.
Right.
There was some that I gave my love to, and I was like, yeah, give it back. You know, I wanted to take it back. I did. I wanted a refund. They wouldn't take the receipt. They said it was over 30 days. I said, it's not cool. It's not fair. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And stuff.
Yeah.
So, but as I got older, I started to value other things, which changed the way I was seeking how someone would love me. So I do remember being a teenager. It was the value was on how much time he spent with me. The value was on if he would be seen with me in public, or was I just his secret treasure. you know it was if he bought me gifts, bought me flowers and stuff like that. And then as I got older into my 20s, I had children already. I had children into my 20s, and I started seeking something different. Now, in seeking a love relationship with someone, it wasn't about just me. It was, can you love my children? You know what I'm saying? As much as you love me, because we're a package deal. They're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
And how you treat my babies will be a reflection of what you feel for me.
Right.
And then by the time I was 40, we won't talk about, because we're going to keep the show on the up note. Keep it on the up note. But by the time I was 40, the experiences I was having during my 30s and 40s in that relationship put me in a place where I was kind of like, now I'm going to be stingy with my heart. Because I felt like I was giving it too freely. and they were taking advantage of it.
I
I
agree.
have a question. It might be for Prunella, but
Go
do
ahead.
you feel that the way a man treats his mother, if you're able to see that, because some men, their mothers are not around, but the way a man treats his mother is a reflection on how he will treat you. Is that?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. There are lots of research behind that. When you look at the first love for a daughter, it's her
Father.
and for a son, it's his mom.
Oh, okay.
And usually, what I see in couples, so there's theoretical research that's proven this, but what I see in my practice daily is they have unresolved issues with the mother that they're trying to resolve through the wife
Yes.
or the girlfriend.
Yes.
Oh,
And,
I see.
it just plays over and over and over again. It goes back to that conceptualization of love. So, how I was treated or what I wasn't given or the needs that were not met, well, now then we're
Show
trying
up
to
in
meet
relationships
second
that I
chance
choose.
on-
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, thanks.
is that the same ideal as, like, you know how they say a man is a mama's boy, or a girl is a daddy's girl, and like that. Let's say a male that's actually really close with his mother. And I've heard it a million times. Girlfriends and boyfriends go through that fight, and it's like, listen, you're a mama's boy. You need to separate from your mom, be a man, be independent, stand on your own, all like that. Your mother ain't here, Seriously, I mean, but
No, really, because I have a son, and we have a really, really, like, really good
Right.
relationship, of love, and he has had girlfriends,
Mhm.
and I have to stop. I have to step back. True that. I own that, but I have told them I'm first. Like,
Mm.
I
you-
know,
Yeah.
I know y'all in love and all that, but I don't even want to repeat it because I'm wrong.
Stanley, help us,
I'm
please.
wrong.
Help us,
Right.
please.
I'm
Right.
so
I'm just-
wrong.
uh,
But
Oh,
you know,
and this is just a personal. I mean, I understand that I guess the differences in uh, with the statement of the way that a woman loves a man loves you is the way that he loves his mother.
no.
Would this, if we reverse the statement, would a woman also feel, not having had her father in her life, would she be able to convey love towards a man that have if she has not seen it in her own life?
No, you can, but my statement was more if you have that experience, if you have the, uh, if you've seen your boyfriend, let's say when he's your boyfriend, if you've seen your boyfriend treat his mother a certain way, is that a reflection on how he will treat you? If you've seen a woman with her dad, or your girlfriend with her dad, and how she treats her dad or how she loves her dad, well, is that a reflection on how she will love her boyfriend? That was my question. If you don't have that, then you can't compare that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have it. So
And it definitely
This.
comes into the equation because, we're social beings and we learn. Our families are our first teachers. We learn what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. But sometimes there are like boundaries that are crossed. And then, that can really wreak havoc. Because when you have healthy relationships, you want to have healthy boundaries.
Right.
So,
Right.
in order to be in a healthy relationship, it has to be healthy boundaries. Now, the way you love your mom is going to be different from the way you love your wife or your
Right,
girlfriend. Those
right.
are two different
Absolutely.
things.
No,
So
right.
having those boundaries are very important, and it doesn't need to take away from any of it. It doesn't need to be a me versus you or either or. There's enough love for all of us, to really,
share.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Let's share.
I also think it's a matter of respect too.
Let's share.
I think if a man respects his mother, respects her enough to listen to her, respects her enough to, just
Do
hear
for her
what she's
and
saying and do for her
take
and
care
all
of
like
her.
that, and treat her as a lady. I think, he would probably do the same in his relationship.
Right.
Can't say all men do, but my experience has been the men that I dated who had really strong relationships with their mothers were the ones who treated me the best.
Right.
You know, because it was kind of like, well, I wouldn't want some guy to come along and treat my mother this way, or treat my sister this way, or my daughter.
Right.
You know, so it was a respect for me there. You know, and vice versa. You know, it's sort of like I wanted to be sure to respect them as I would want some other woman to respect my father or my son.
A lot of women pick men like their dads when they have good relationships, even when they don't. Subconsciously, that's what you know.
Right.
My dad was military. My dad was very strict. My dad was very smart, you know. So that's what I picked. I don't know.
Well, don't sound so happy about
No,
it.
I'm all right.
That's what-
No, I'm happy.
All right,
I'm good. I'm good. But I tend to, you know.
Can,
I've
can
been
I
here
ask a
32
personal question,
years.
Stanley?
Yes, yes.
Sure. You were married when
Yes.
when you were seeking a wife. Not talking about that specific relationship, but in general, when you were dating, did you find that the women you chose to date were emulating traits of your mother, or relationship? Your relationship would be something comparable to like you had with your mother.
I think to an extent, I think it had a lot to do with this that individual person, not necessarily
Okay.
traits that I seen in my mother,
Right.
but I think just uh, I guess just the general traits and how well you treat other people, the way that you talk and how you treat other people, your the ability, sensitivity, being able to communicate. I think that was those were the big keys for me. So it didn't necessarily have to do with traits that I seen in my mother.
Okay. I have a question. I love it. Okay. So, how much does intimacy play a factor in you falling in love with someone? Or does it even play a factor with you falling in love
Normally,
with someone?
you're in love with the
Oh,
person you're
is
intimate
that
with.
to me?
Really?
No, in
That's
general,
for the that's
in
for
general,
the table.
I'm
for the
saying,
cafe.
I'm saying normally, you're in love with a person by the time you're intimate. Some people, I mean, some people are not, but
Okay.
I would hope.
if you're talking about intimacy, so intimacy cannot, let me take that word out, is not just sexually, because you can be intimate with someone by just sitting in a room with them. The intimacy of a conversation, the intimacy of going to a movie, sitting in
Well,
the car. like,
that's very nice. Those intimacies, but I think we're talking about sex, aren't we?
I was talking about sex.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
talking about sex.
Yeah.
That's what we
And
do.
I'm
We
talking about
talk
sex.
about that.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
That's
Carla-
why. That's
to-
why I
to
knew where she was
Carlotta's
going.
point- to Carlotta's point, intimacy, the real definition of intimacy is emotional connection.
Right.
Yes.
So you really can't have that without,
Yeah.
right.
the physical. So the physical is the manifestation.
Right.
You
Right.
got to be really emotionally connected to just get naked.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Right.
Just to be vulnerable enough to just
Yes.
be like, hey,
Yes.
I'm gonna let you see me in
Yes.
my birthday suit.
Yes.
So so those two go hand in hand. And for women, right? Men can be physically intimate much quicker
Right.
Okay.
than women. Women, because we're mental,
Right.
and
Right.
emotional
Right.
beings, we need to have that. So you ever like realize that you're not really in the mood if your
Right.
your
Right.
mate
If
got
you're-
on your nerves, did something, and you're like, I don't really
maybe
like you.
not
I
right
can't
now.
even- no, I don't
No.
even like you right
I'm
now. I don't want to do nothing. So it's because of that emotional connection. They say
Right.
24 hours. Don't get on their nerves 24 hours before you want to do the thing.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
So you got to be planning. You got to be like
Oh, I
strategic.
love it. I love it. Stanley,
Don't get on my nerves.
prior
Stanley,
to it.
Yes, yes.
do you find, and I'm just asking from a male point of view, do you find that intimacy plays a role in how much you love a person? From what you know,
Um,
talking to your boys, your brothers, your cousins, whomever, with
I don't
men.
think that
It does.
and I guess if we're on the topic, if we're talking about intimacy versus sex, I don't think that the aspect, I don't think it determines how much I'm going to love the person
No,
based on
Hmm.
the amount of
That's what
it doesn't.
sex. I will
that's what
say
I'm
that
talking about.
it does play a part in a relationship because to be we're adults and we realize that as a man's needs, and if he feel like he's more frustrated and upset and he's not having sex, it tends to um, uh, causes an incompatibility, and
Mm.
I'm
Strain.
sure, and so therefore it
Absolutely.
does play a part and whether or not you feel as close and believe it or not, even guys when they're not necessarily as much as we're believed to be able to have sex at the drop of a dime without,
Hmm.
we do also think about things that play on our minds as well, that may not necessarily want to have sex at the time, even with the wife that we have that has upset us somewhere or not, it may not be on our mind just as well as it's not on a woman's mind after she's been upset. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to hear like a man's point of view because like we as women just honestly believe that men are just like
Machines.
literally like
Yeah.
y'all think about sex 24/7. Like you go to work and you're like, I can't wait to get home so I can have some sex.
That yes, that's
You
what
go
they
to
think
lunch and you're like, I
constantly.
need a sex on
I
the beach.
just talked to
Okay,
someone.
like,
Yes,
you
I
understand what I'm
just had a
saying?
conversation with someone today. I said, "So what is always on a man's mind?" And he said, "Sex."
Mm.
And
I
it's
said,
funny because
"So
men
so
have actually said
yeah."
that,
And I
and
said it because
we've had them on the
I was like,
show.
"Well, what happened then?"
We know.
Because that didn't happen. A whole other thing happened.
But that's
I'm
not
just being
what
I
makes
just being
them love you.
transparent. And it wasn't that it wasn't about, the love thing. It was just
Right.
the fact that okay, we're together. We're hanging out. We're doing and
No, we're just, yeah.
his
But I
mind
know
was
that.
somewhere else. I was like, well, then what happened? If that's what's on his mind all the time, because that wasn't on his mind. It couldn't have been. I'm being transparent. It couldn't have been. Sexy chocolate woman in your presence and you
Right.
over there. What
Right.
was you thinking about?
Gotcha.
So I
yeah,
asked him.
and the probably to answer your question is that sometimes even though sex is on our minds, we have to be
It was
realistic to realize that we can't necessarily
not with her.
redraw
Not
minds,
her.
Y'all
and
gonna make me say
Wait,
something.
wait, wait.
Not
Hold
with
on,
her.
hold on. I'm
so
sorry. Could you
we
repeat
can't
that,
necessarily
Stanley?
read our minds, so we don't want to approach too early and realize that, okay, maybe we should. Realize that we approached too early, and it seems like that was, oh, now you're turned off by it because we approach, because you may have
I'm sorry.
thinking about it. So at some point, we can't necessarily. And I guess for a help for a man is to know that if a woman is in that frame of mind, it's in some way, some shape or form, letting him know that that's also on her mind,
Hmm.
because otherwise you tend to hold back because you don't want to move too soon, too quickly, and give that person the wrong impression, especially if you like that person or want to see where
Hmm.
it's going to go further or not.
I like what you said.
That's
That gives me some
nice. Yes.
understanding.
Very
So,
nice.
A little bit.
Mm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen in the cafe, we are gonna have to get ready to go. That was the quickest
Who
hour.
paying the bill?
That went fast.
Who paying the cafe
No,
bill?
you didn't. Just who paying the bill? Oh,
Therese, you got it. Go
I
ahead.
really want to appreciate. I appreciate and want to thank Prunella, Stanley, and Carlotta for being in the cafe with us tonight. It's been a blast. I've had a great
It
time
was fun.
talking about this.
It was fun.
You know, and Stanley, you know, thank you very much for being brave enough to come in the midst of the women's lion's lair.
He's
The
the
lion's
only
And
one
lair.
that
tell
was
all the
brave
men's
enough.
secrets.
You know,
Thank
and
you.
tell
Not a
us-
problem. Actually, to be honest with you, I think we probably need to do a lot more of this because I think this, if we don't conversate with each other and talk to each other, you'll be thinking one thing, we'll be thinking one thing,
That's
and
true.
So,
That's right.
one of us will
Conversation.
actually come together.
Communication.
Because
Say
you're
more,
thinking-
Stanley. Say more.
Agreed. And I think it's necessary for us to be able, we have to talk to each other
Right.
to be able to understand each other so that we can have relationships that
Right.
are functional, you know,
Right.
because I am totally, I'm
And be
over
in love.
the non-functional relationships.
Right.
You
I'm
know,
over
and stuff.
dysfunctional relationship.
Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
there. I've
So
been
we can
through
learn how to
too many,
love,
so I'm
right?
done with
We
it.
need to learn how to love.
You know, and also too, it's like we have to also take in consideration the children that are growing up under us.
That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying? We are the example.
That's
You
right.
know, and if we want them to see what a functional relationship looks like, we have to be the ones to say, okay, listen, I got to do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, I got to put
Oh,
my
yeah.
pride to the side.
Yes.
I got to not worry
Absolutely.
about what, you know, my sister's going to say or my cousin, that you stupid, you this, you that, you know, and all like that. We got to put all that to the side and say,
Right.
listen, let's have a conversation about what's going on here, because until I know what you're thinking, and like Stanley said, until they know what we're thinking, we're always going to be bumping heads and be at odds.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, Stanley, we're going to have more conversations, and we're going to invite more men into the cafe to talk to us, because we want to have functional relationships with you
Yes.
guys.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
All right. So here we're going to say goodnight. Thank you all for coming. It's been a blast. We can't wait to see you next week, you know, in the cafe. We're going to give you a heads up. In July, we got something good coming. Y'all going to love this. It's a 2-hour special. Okay? And we're going to talk about colorism, ladies.
All right. All right.
We're going to talk
That's
about
gonna be
it.
serious.
Because it's time for us to understand why we can't get along.
Right.
You know, what's
Right.
the problem that we can't get along?
Right.
And the origins of that is the color of our skin.
Mm.
You know?
With some respect, yeah.
Yeah. You know,
There's some other
origins is the
stuff,
color of
but
our
yes.
skin. But we're going to talk about that soon. So you all have a great night. Be safe. Stay cool in this heat.